Hi guys, this is Craig Kills You, and I'm playing The World of Tanks. This is gonna be the first one of these videos that I'm gonna do, so cut me a little slack. It's gonna be a review on the T-54. This is a tank that I've had for a while, and honestly, I could not figure out how to use it. I couldn't play it. For the longest time, I could not grind out the experience, and I just couldn't stand it anymore. I really couldn't. But the biggest problem is this right here. The starting gun selection on this is horrible. You get to this gun, and this is what I was using on it, and you can see the specs. I mean, it's a 175, and you're seeing tier 10s. You're firing gold in it almost all the time. So, just a few days ago, I finally got the upgraded gun for it, and boy, has it been a treat. I've been doing much better, and you'll see in one of the replays that I'll give you a little bit later. Captured my first class mastery badge, doing 3,000 damage at a time. Much better tank with these upgraded guns. In my opinion, I'm going to go for the Object 140, so I chose the 100mm D10Z, or 2C, sorry. So let's talk about this tank a little bit. I'll run down the stats, but in my opinion, the stats don't always say what the tank is capable of. It's got a 1,650 hit points, which I think is pretty standard for the medium tanks. They've all pretty much got the same. It's got good weight. It's got a nice engine in it, and it does reach this top speed. It's 56. It will go 56. It's incredibly agile with great traverse, great turret traverse. But the biggest thing, in my opinion, that really makes this tank stand out is its hull armor, its frontal hull armor, and its frontal turret armor. Let's talk about this. If you look at this tank, look at the sloping on the front of this tank. I mean, it is really nicely sloped. And you can see the front of this turret. Shoot around into that and see where it goes. It's going to bounce right off. And so often I get people, I'll be at about this angle coming out at people with my gun pointing out. And they'll fire at me right here. And it bounce right off. Even at these angles, they're firing and it's ricocheting. It's not going to go in at these angles, It's a really easy to drive tank for bouncing. But like I said, the biggest thing is 58,000 for the guns on these. I mean, it's incredible how much it costs. And if this is your first tier 9 like mine, I wasn't expecting that. It took me a while to get there because it was so hard to use the other gun on it. And it was costing me so much money, and I started to just lose interest in it. But now I have this good gun, so we'll talk about a little bit of the stats on this. And I'm going to bring up this here for you. 100mm gun, about 8 rounds a minute. It's a little less than 8 rounds a minute. So you sacrifice, obviously, rate of fire in comparison to the other gun. Oh, let me try to bring up the stats on this one for you as well. And we can compare them, and you'll see exactly what I mean. It's obvious which is the better gun here. There's no question. You sacrifice a little rate of fire, but the biggest thing is this 201 penetration doesn't look on paper like it's incredibly better. Like you're like, okay, that's a much better gun, but you're still gonna have trouble penning. Not the case at all. I would load the 235 millimeters of penetration on these premium rounds, and it would still bounce. Shooting at lower plates, shooting at commander's hatches, shooting at weak points in tanks, shooting at sides and rears of tanks, and it still bounces. This 201 goes through everything. Every single time I shoot. Lower plates of T-110E5s, lower plates of E75s, frontal plates of tanks. Sides and rears are a joke. This thing goes through everything. Choose it right up. The penetration, the alpha damage is amazing on this tank. It's 320, but it'll hit all the way up to 350s, 400s, But I get a lot of times where I get the other end of the spectrum, and it'll hit as low as you can see over here, 240. and I've hit those kind of lows, and they're frustrating. 2.3 second aiming time is great. 3.5 accuracy, great. Obviously, you're not losing anything there. It weighs less. And once I got this gun, I mean, the whole view of this tank changed. It became one of my favorite tanks almost instantly. And I love the T-54, and I love the 3485. That's why they're in my garage. If you look at my stats, I mean, they're going to be my top two tanks here. 3485, 425, and the T-44, 215. Love these two tanks, and I think they are wonderful. I really do. I think that they're great tanks, and this is another great addition. And to be honest, besides the T-43, I haven't hated this line from the T-34 to here. I thought I was really going to dislike this tank, but it has really turned itself around in my book, and I'm starting to make some really big strides. I have this 12,000 research in less than a day. I couldn't get 58,000 in a month. So the Top Gun really does make such a big difference in this. But I'm finding myself, I had such a struggle learning to play this tank without the Top Gun, that with the Top Gun, it's that much easier. So, it's got a good view range, a good signal range, pretty standard. I think it's a little low on the view range, to be honest, but it spots people, no trouble. And like I said, the stats don't tell everything about this tank. The 120 millimeter, sure, that's garbage, but you angle this thing, and you're going to bounce a lot more shells than you expect. A lot more shells. And people will try to shoot at these little hatches up here, and all the time they hit the front of this high point, and it doesn't bounce and penetrate, it bounces and ricochets. So, I mean, the stats do not tell everything. On all of my medium tanks and all of my tanks in general, I try to put vertical stabilizers and gun rammers. I think the vertical stabilizer is one of the best equipment fits that you could put on. And I use it, like I said, on a lot of tanks. As you can see, I have pretty much full repairs. Everyone but my commander doesn't have repairs. Full repairs. He's got 90%. The skills, I think they're more of a personal thing. Russian tanks, though, should always have that, always have the repairs on it, in my opinion, and it's really helpful. I think that's pretty much it about the tank. It's a great tank, and I'd fully recommend getting it, but be ready for a hard grind. If you're not one of those players that sets his tank up before he plays with it, be ready for a real hard grind, because that gun is brutal. That gun is brutal to try to get. In retrospect, if I could have done it again, I would have saved all the experience, gotten Trax, gun, and then worried about the rest. Definitely one of those tanks where that's where you want to go, is Trax, gun, and then the rest of it. So, without further ado, I'll get you into a replay and enjoy the rest of the video. Okay guys, so here's our first replay here. This is going to be the only one I'm going to show you. I have a few more I could show you, but some of them I was messing around a little bit. A couple of them I firing some gold rounds and whatnot. This is a pretty pure representation of what the T-54 can do. So, as you can tell, I head for the mid area. So we head for the mid area, like I said, and I put a shot into that Centurion. He sees me, but he doesn't make another attempt, and I back off. I don't make another attempt to try to shoot him either. But I'm going to get some targets pop up way across the way, and this will be a little bit of demonstration of the accuracy of this gun. I miss a couple shots and whatnot, but for the most part, this gun is super accurate, and I don't have any problems with it accuracy-wise. So, I'm going to take a couple shots here. I thought that there was another tank up there after the Centurion died, but there wasn't. So, now I'm going to back off here. And I should have had this guy. I really should have. And I don't think I could get my gun down far enough because of where I was or whatever I was thinking. I missed. And I don't get him with the second one, but I get this guy in the back of the turret. And you can see it pens, and it's a nice shot, 341. But again, if you look at the damage totals, I don't have a damage total for the game. But if you look at the hits, each hit individually, you'll see the fluctuation from 240 all the way up to 350s. I can't remember hitting 400s. I've hit 390s a couple times in it. But you can see I'm shredding these guys, and they're not really reacting too well. I was hoping to get another shot at this T-54, and it doesn't happen. But I keep firing here for a while, and I'm doing good. I'm putting out a lot of damage, and it looks like I'm not doing a lot, but I really am putting a lot of damage out. I decided I'm going to go and help this scout that's up here alone. He's facing off against a Patton and a Pershing up there. But, after I get down here, I realize I really don't have the gun depression to get up there. And I'm not going to do any good getting myself killed up there. So, you're going to see me take a shot from the Pershing and whatnot, but it doesn't really do me any good. I just want to apologize about any of these, little videos skipping a little bit. I was doing a couple things on my computer, and the recording must have dropped FPS. So, no big deal. It's still watchable, obviously, but you'll see a little bit of skipping on the tank's end. But anyways, back to the video. Here, I'm going to go, and I decide I'm going to help that far flank. Looks like they've got a little bit to chew off. I don't know exactly what's around this corner, but I get surprised. T-34. And again, the accuracy shows off there. At .35, I can just shoot on the run. I don't ever have to aim in like this. I could just third person it and be able to hit him perfectly. Get a good shot there. He puts his top up to me, which is just the worst thing you could do. This doesn't make any sense. Just stay down low like that. There's no reason to put your top up to me, because your top is one of your weakest spots. You see, IS-3 isn't looking, and I shoot him. Now, that's been an area where I've had a lot of trouble penning in the past with this thing. The IS-3's pike right in the front, right where I'm hitting, I have not been able to pen that in the past. And I finally get my opportunity, and now those shots are going in consistently. And IS-3s aren't a problem anymore. So the WZ tries to grab a kill here, but none of us do. As you can see, the IS-8, I believe, gets a kill on him. But I see the Patton. I'm trying to run back to help, and well, they didn't really need my help. They're going to kill him. Got a couple more kills. And at the end of this game, you're going to see a pretty, looking back at it, I was angry at the time, but looking back at it, it was a couple of pretty bad shots. But a couple of them really I would expect to go in and do some damage, or at least some tracking or anything like that. But it didn't do a damn thing. Here I'm worried that there might be someone up on the ridge line because they've cleared that edge. I'm just checking, so I'm waiting for my binoculars, which I run, to come up, which they did. Didn't see anything. See the Pershing, so I'm going to head off back that way to help them. Doesn't look like they'll need my help at the base. It looks like the last couple of guys have moved toward that. Toward our base. So this isn't some outstanding kill performance or anything like that, but you can see what it does to medium tanks a tier below it. I pretty much shred this guy. He hits me a couple times. I hit him again here. And you can see I'm hitting good chunks of damage, and I'm hitting with some accuracy and some confidence finally. And now you're going to get to see a little bit of the armor here, and you see it ricochets. I'll show you exactly where it ricochets. Alright, and you can see right there on the front, it ricocheted right off. So this is the kills that I'm talking about, this IS-4. This is a bad shot here, right into his turret. I mean, it's 240 or something millimeters thick. Like, this one, I just don't have an explanation for. I think it hit the bottom of his tank, and then this one, just what bad luck there. That doesn't pen at all. And I just decided to pull off and live to fight another day. At this point, though, I'm screaming. But anyways, folks, that's going to be it. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, subscribe, like, comment. Thanks for watching. This is Craig Kills You, and I'm signing out.